These are incredible. This might just be my new favorite camera phone. So in this video, I've flown 5,000 miles to China, where I've never been before. I've also come to see about 8,000 really old dudes.
They're just like the Terracotta Warriors of Xi'an.
They sure are.
And also I've got 4 phones with me, because I reckon this guy may just be the new camera king. So here's the deal. OPPO reached out and said, do you want to come to China to test out this guy, the OPPO Find X8 Ultra? Now, I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, because I don't want you to waste your time, you can't buy this. It's going to be a China-only launch, which when you see what this is capable of, will make it even more disappointing, I'm telling you. But for me at least, it's still fascinating to see what they're doing in terms of camera tech and also the processing and AI behind the scenes, and also cramming in 1-inch sensors and dual telephoto lenses with bigger sensors than ever before, in even tighter spaces. In fact, this X8 Ultra is the thinnest phone rocking a 1-inch sensor. Okay, I'm going to hide the names. I want to start with a blind test, just to see what you think. Let me show you a couple of side-by-sides between the Galaxy S25 Ultra, Xiaomi 15 Ultra, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and of course the new OPPO Find X8 Ultra, going between their main camera and also their telephoto lenses, or in the case of the iPhone, the single telephoto lens. Okay, let me put you out of your misery. This is the lineup. Did you guess correctly? And also, which is your favorite? There are a couple of things still in the air, like how will this compete with Vivo's latest Ultra phone, and also we're going to see more software updates for this. The ability to shoot in 4K 120 was only added late in this sort of testing week via an OTA update, so this has room to improve. Thank you. Oh. Thank you. I promise I'm not going to do those poses in these videos. She's doing it much better than I am. But I'm here at the OPPO launch event. 3,000 people are going to go in there, including yourself. I've got my ticket. Almost didn't let me in, actually. This is exciting. Although I do already have the phone. Anyway, let's go. Look at these influencers in the wild. They just take pictures of themselves. I wouldn't be seen dead walking around holding my phone in front of me, talking to camera. Ugh. So that's the end of the keynote. They've opened up this demo area where people are getting their hands on the phone that I'm using to shoot this on right now. But when I tested this with some of the models in this sort of demo area, I mean, you be the judge between the two. This is a sort of straight out the camera, 3x, 6x, 1x, you pick it. With these tricky lighting portraits, the OPPO just blows it away. Let's get the specs out of the way first. 6.82-inch Quad HD Plus 120Hz display. Lovely screen. It's also flat, and also it feels and looks very much like a S25 Ultra if you hold them side by side. We've got a new sort of curved design, a little bit different than the previous X7 Ultra from last year. We've also got the Snapdragon 8 Elite, of course, compared to the Find X8 Pro, which goes with the Dimensity chip. So we've gone Snapdragon in their flagship. We also have a massive 6,100 mAh battery, which is also partly why it's only China only, because I don't think you could really do that in the EU. That's what we're seeing with some brands. But what really makes this special is this. It's a penta camera system, Pen 5, and the reason for that is we have the main 1-inch sensor, 2 telephotos, a 3x and a 6x, and also this guy. It's an industry-first Spectral Chroma sensor, or is it Chroma Spectral sensor? Either way, it's actually a 2-megapixel CMOS in here that can detect the color temperature of 48 zones within your frame so that you get much more accurate color temperatures and white balance, but it does seem to bring out the more complex hues and tones that we have in particularly face places that other phones can often just wash out. And speaking of portrait mode, the X8 Ultra adds continuous zoom from 1x to 6x with seamless bokeh. It doesn't break it, you can sort of punch in and out. It's also the Hasselblad portrait mode, so you're getting that really cinematic bokeh, which is simulating the Hasselblad XCD lens. So this just looks professional. And even though we are in the third year now, the third generation of having 1-inch sensors in phones like this, it's still rare. There's less than a handful of manufacturers that offer this, and that bigger sensor means it can capture more light, giving you better image quality, particularly in low light, and also just much more natural bokeh. It looks more professional. Now the second lens is a 3x telephoto, it's 50 megapixels and uses a new 1/1.56 LYT-700 sensor. That's 3 times larger than what you'll get in the S25 Ultra's 3x sensor. It also has a wider aperture, f2.1, which means it lets in 50% more light versus last year's X7 Ultra. And the 3x also doubles as a tele-macro lens, so rather than using the ultra-wide camera, which we have for a few years now, you can get much better, much sharper close-ups and macro shots, almost like having a microscope. But then at 6 times, the second telephoto lens kicks in. This is also 50 megapixels with an LYT-600 sensor. It's 1/1.95 inches, which is significantly bigger than the X7 Ultra with its 1/2.51 inch and its IMX858 sensor, and a much wider aperture. We've gone from f4.3 down to f3.1, so the light intake is increased by 151%. It's a big upgrade. So 6x is equivalent to 135 millimeters, but if you press it again, it will then punch into 300 millimeters. But if you press it a third time, then you'll go all the way up to 600 millimeters. That's 26.9 times zoom. Then we have the ultra-wide, the fourth lens, which is also 50 megapixels, uses a JN5 sensor. And actually this is a little bit of a downgrade, arguably. It does have a smaller sensor than the X7 Ultra, but they've improved things through the processing and smarter algorithms. It's fine, it's good, but it's probably the weakest link out of this whole camera system. So we have the sensors and the camera hardware, but it's equally about the processing, the software, the algorithm behind the scenes. And so with this, we have the Hypertone image engine. And actually it's quite interesting when you take a picture and then immediately go to the gallery. It takes sort of 2 or 3 seconds for it to process, but when it finishes, it just morphs into this incredibly high quality photo. One of my favorite camera modes that I actually use more often than I ever thought I would is this X-Pan mode, which gives you this really cinematic, super widescreen format for photos, which you can take either horizontally or vertically, you can take in color or black and white, but it's such a cool aesthetic and I actually really enjoy shooting in X-Pan. We also now get lightning snap, so if you hold the shutter button down, it'll give you 7 frames per second, up to about 50 images I think, so really, really fast burst photo mode with a new phone. We also have this quick button here, which you can double press to open the camera. You can then press it to take a photo. And also in the camera settings, you can customize the quick button. You can change what the double press does. You can disable it entirely, change the pressure sensitivity. And this has been refined for this new X8 Ultra, but brand new for this year is this shortcut button, which is, well, let's just say very similar to a certain fruit-based rival. And that replaces the alert slider, which we had before. And you can customize this to open any app you want, or even the camera. So shortcut button and quick button for the camera. Let me just show you how seamless this transition is. So I'm filming up 4K 60, Terracotta Warriors here, and also their horses, warrior horses, just down there. I found a quieter spot from the million people up there and down there. Anyway, so Warriors, this is 1x, 0.6. I feel like the ultra wide, because we've got the downgraded sensor, maybe it's still an area for improvement, but 1x, 3x, that's the first telephoto. Let's focus on this dude down here in front of the headless guy. So that's 3, 6, and also look at that stability, is rock solid. I'm hand holding this. If we punch in, obviously we start to lose a bit of detail there at 25 times, but 25, back to 1, 6, 3, 1, 6. So it's a 4K 60. I can switch between all the lenses. It's really smooth and seamless. Very, very nice. And also just the stabilization, particularly longer range zoom. Incredible. But what about low light video? Well, this is a pretty good test. Both the iPhone here and the OPPO shooting at 4K 30. Honestly, this place is absolutely unreal. But let's look at the stabilization. If I just go for a little wander over here, let's see how they cope with lens flare, stabilization. image quality, because this is very dark. You got this building. I do feel like the OPPO is blowing out the colors on our face a little bit there with this strong lighting. Unless we move in. Both very good, but at 4K 30, I'll let you be the judge for low light video. This might be the best place I've ever been to for this test. Holy moly. And finally, ultra wide. Now for video, you can shoot in up to 4K 120 with the main 1x and 3x lenses, or 4K 60 across the full range of the lenses. You can also shoot in Dolby Vision HDR at that 4K 60 or 4K 120, and there's an ultra steady mode if you're sort of running and gunning and need really stable video, and a bit of an underrated feature, but this actually supports 4K 60 ultra steady. Most other phones either top out at 1080p or 1440. I think that's the first time we've seen that. However, there is still no log video support, which is frustrating, but I am assured by OPPO, they said they're literally working and coding it as we speak, it will be coming soon. We do also have their master mode where you can really fine tune the white balance and exposure and shutter speed and sort of tweak it the way you like, and you can change the format from the regular JPEG up to RAW Max, which gives you much more information and data to edit afterwards if you throw it into Lightroom. What would be nice though is if we had a JPEG and RAW or RAW Max option, so it sort of took both at the same time. You can also tap on photos to bring up the different smart scenes. You've got stage, silhouette, fireworks. It will automatically suggest this based on the scene and the lighting around you. So for example, when I was at the OPPO launch event, it suggested the stage lighting. I think this suits me. What do you think? Backpack and all. So this is being shot on the X8 Ultra selfie camera. You can shoot in 4K 60. You've also got Dolby Vision options if you want. These are some of the dirty reprobates on the trip with me as well, but I'm going on ahead because look at this. There's no one here. And finally, to round out my epic Chinese adventure, we were flown down to Shenzhen where OPPO have their imaging labs, and we got a little bit of a behind-the-scenes tour of some of the tests and equipment they use to create and, importantly, optimize their camera systems. But it's fascinating to see what's going on behind the scenes, and this is just one part of their testing process. I need one of these robots back at my studio. And so that is the OPPO Find X8 Ultra. I've had an incredible time with this over the past week or two, and I think it is my favorite camera phone right now. The biggest problem, of course, is that you can't buy it. However, what I would say is that the X8 Pro, which is available in more markets, including here in the UK, is also very, very good. The battery, the performance are pretty similar, and while it doesn't have that 1-inch sensor, it does obviously have the Hypertone image engine and still fantastic zoom, and I actually took it to Bali a few months ago and was blown away by it, and it's actually a good deal cheaper as well. So while it's a shame that we can't buy the Ultra outside of China, I would definitely still recommend checking out the X8 Pro. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.